Welcome to the Hashimoto's Doctor Podcast. You're now part of a growing community of people determined to take their health back through education and self-empowerment. But because of the healthcare system today, we don't have access to the types of healthcare that we want. So we have to do things differently. We've got to do things smarter, and we do that by becoming our own advocates. This podcast will give you the perspective and thoughts of one of the world's leading Hashimoto's doctors. So let's get started. Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. I hope you're doing well today. In today's podcast, what I want to talk to you guys about is something that, I was very hesitant to do when I first learned about it, but it has proved to be one of the most life-changing practices that I've ever implemented. And it's something that, a lot of people have questions about. They often read it. Most of the time they first hear it, they laugh, they scoff at the idea, but I promise you it has some amazing healing properties. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. What I want to talk about is the power of enemas. Okay? So, I know. Just relax. Just relax. An enema is basically where you flush the lower bowel of your lower intestine with water or a solution. And, the goal is, typically thought of as trying to just relieve constipation and eliminate waste. Okay, mostly it's used as a way to relieve constipation. However, you may be aware you may have heard me, or you may have read somewhere where people have been advocates of or used coffee enemas. So you actually grind coffee, organic, very, very pure coffee. Absolutely no conventional coffee. You shouldn't be drinking that anyway. But they grind coffee that is very, very lightly roasted, shade grown, organically raised, and put maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons into, say, 3 cups of water. They boil it, strain it, and then take the water that's remaining and they mix it with purified. All the water has to be purified, typically reverse osmosis, so you're not putting chemicals and other contaminants into your body. And then you mix that water. You mix it with the coffee with that purified water, and what it does is, it brings the temperature down a bit. And then you can use it as an enema. Now, you may have heard of that practice. It's what we would call a coffee enema. And you may be wondering, if you've never heard about this, what in the world are you talking about? And I get it. Just bear with me, because this is a very powerful practice, guys. I use enemas probably 2 to 3 times per week. And, it's been, when I say it's been like completely life-changing, I mean that 100%. So so why might you use coffee in an enema? And the real reason here is that it's believed to stimulate the liver and open the bile ducts a bit. So it's also believed. So the point there is, why would that be beneficial? Well, it would help improve the flow of bile, which is released. It's created by the liver, deposited and stored in the gallbladder, and then released through the ducts, the bile ducts that empty into the intestinal tract. So the coffee enema, one of the things that it is believed to do is stimulate the release of bile, which is, bile is used by your body to emulsify and break down fats, among other things. It has lots of different types of enzymes within it, but it also carries a lot of toxins that your body, your liver, may have been breaking down, or technical term would be biotransforming. And it's something that many times, if we're focusing on a process of detoxification, we're trying to, excrete and eliminate from the body at a higher rate than we normally would. When you're not detoxifying, your body actually reabsorbs a lot of that bile so that it doesn't have to make more. The body's going to be, try to be as efficient as possible, which makes sense, But when we're trying to detoxify and we're trying to, eliminate waste and toxins, then we're going to, stimulating that bile flow is something that we're and eliminating it, something we're going to be a little bit more focused on. So the coffee enema is, purported, it's believed to do that. The other things that, that we think are powerful and beneficial is that the caffeine stimulates nerve endings in the gut that help to improve firing of nerves, which we would call sensory nerves. So they're detecting chemical signals, they're detecting stretch, they're detecting pressure, all different types of nerve endings that we're firing that are sending signals to the brain, making it more aware of the gut. Now, the reason that we focus on doing that is because if we can stimulate nerve endings in the gut and we fire it to the brain, we fire those nerves to the brain, we make the brain more aware of the colon in the gut itself. And the idea is that we actually improve the brain's awareness of the gut by stimulating nerves in the digestive tract that light up areas of the brain like a light bulb. It lights it up and it's very electrically active. Now, we know that when we repeatedly stimulate areas of the brain, that what we do is we improve plasticity. So we're encouraging those neurons, those nerve cells to fire more easily between one another. So using an enema, it's believed, will improve the brain's awareness of the gut and could improve peristalsis, which is this process of the contraction and wave-like firing of muscles in the digestive tract that move the food. Now, why would that be important? Well, that's important because if someone deals with constipation, they probably have a problem with peristalsis. Their digestive tract does not milk and move the food efficiently through the GI tract, and so you become constipated because it becomes stagnant. It doesn't move or fire efficiently. So the enema, so a few of the benefits again. Let's just rehash. Let's review. Number one, we believe that it increases bile flow, which helps with detoxification of the liver. Number two, we believe that it stimulates the brain by, for one thing, the coffee itself stimulates nerve endings. The stretch, so when you put the water into the colon, it distends or stretches the colon a bit, which fires, both of those things fire nerve endings to the brain and make the brain more aware of the gut, improving the gut-brain connection and making the neurons in the brain more efficient at activating the gut, which would be, peristalsis is one of the main things that we're trying to focus on, this wave-like motion of the intestinal tract that helps to move food through the gut so that it can be eliminated. So, we think that that's going to be something that can help improve constipation, and that does seem to be the case clinically when we do it with repetition. The third thing is that the enemas, especially the coffee enema, has been shown to increase glutathione production. Glutathione is the master antioxidant of the body. It's an incredibly powerful compound that helps with numerous detoxification processes. Like I said, it's the master antioxidant. It's the most powerful antioxidant in the body, and it helps to upregulate glutathione. So there are numerous benefits, and that's not an exhaustive list, but that's just of the coffee enema. Now there are various types of enemas. I would say the most common thing that I utilize is the coffee enema. And if you're interested, you may have heard about enemas used in Gerson therapy. I believe it's Gerson. If you look up Gerson, or sometimes it's pronounced a little differently, Gerson therapy, you can look that up. I think it's gersontherapy.org, I believe so. But if you just search Gerson, Gerson, enema, and just type the word enema, you're going to find a ton of information, because this was a therapy that was developed like in the early 1900s, I believe, to, for the idea that we're flushing toxins from the body, and that it's a practice that is used in certain approaches to alternative approaches or complementary approaches to cancers. So I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying, listen, there's a lot of people that have been doing these enemas in the past that have used them therapeutically with people. This is not something that's new, but this is a concept, and I'm going to talk to you about a few other types of enemas that I think are very beneficial, but this is the one that I think we use the most clinically, that I use the most, is the coffee enema. And I think they're incredibly powerful and beneficial. So that's the most common type of enema I would say that I use and that I recommend to people. Now, the second type of enema is actually a probiotic enema. So, we talk a lot about the gut microbiome and how important bacterial balance is in the gut. Well, a probiotic enema is an enema where you might warm some purified water and then you would empty into it bacteria, like you would empty actual capsules of your probiotics, like that you would take orally, because all those are bacteria that you're taking orally, and you're really trying to improve your gut health. Well, another way to do that would be to empty those capsules into water that you're going to use in an enema, because you're going to retain that. And the idea there is that we may be able to seed the gut better or get bacteria into the digestive tract more efficiently that way. So now you can do that alone, or you can just add it to a coffee enema. So you can combine some of these approaches. Okay. Now the third type of enema is going to be a bentonite enema. Now, you may have heard of bentonite clay. It comes from deep within the earth. It has these incredible properties and minerals where it can bind to certain types of metals and toxins. Well, a bentonite enema would be an enema that you would mix, and there's a specific recipe for it that I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I don't remember the amount of bentonite clay to use. But we have that in our detoxification program. If you're interested, guys, in getting access to this information, like even more specific than this, and I'll try to help you guys out with the amounts and everything in this podcast, you can actually go to hashimotosdoctor.com/TCS, and you can actually join we have a membership program where people, it's unbelievable, really, all this stuff. We're trying to change the face of healthcare. There are a ton of benefits, but one of the things in there is we have an entire module in our detoxification program on enemas and all this stuff I'm telling you with more specifics. I can't remember the amount of bentonite clay, but you use bentonite clay. You try to retain this enema. Now you want to utilize this enema in a way where you hold it for 20 to 30 minutes if possible. You don't want to do more than one of these per week, because the bentonite clay itself will bind and take a lot of things out with it. So this is when you're more actively detoxifying. You don't want to remove everything from the gut. You don't want to remove and eliminate all of your bacteria. You don't want to do those things. So what you want to do is use this periodically, and no more than really once per week, and it will bind to a lot of waste and metals and really help you to eliminate those more efficiently. Now, the fourth type of enema, and there's more, is the butyrate enema. Now, butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid. It's typically made by the bacteria in your gut. It's incredibly important for digestive tract health and healing of the gut wall. Butyrate is very often deficient in people because they don't have enough bacteria that make it. So one of the things you can do is, you guessed it, add it to an enema that you're doing. So maybe you take an enema and you have a coffee enema and you add probiotics and butyrate to it. Now that would be an amazing combination that you could do. The bentonite clay you would not want to add. You would want to do it by itself because it's going to bind to everything. So you don't want to bind all that stuff that you're putting in. So those are really, really important and powerful tools that I think a lot of us can use. A lot of the people that I've worked with have used, I've used them, and I think that they're incredibly beneficial and, like I said, game-changing to your health. So if you guys have any questions, please let us know. I hope you found this interesting and beneficial. Please do reach out to us. If you want to know specifics on how to detoxify, how to do these enemas, you can just join our transformation community. It's a community of people. We're trying to change the face of healthcare. It's $20 per month, but we have our transformation program in there, our detoxification program. There are multiple programs that we have in planning and production. Our Lots of stuff is in there. We also give you 35% off of the supplements that we recommend, and there's free shipping over $50. So a lot of people, for $20, a lot of people actually save a tremendous amount of money because they spend hundreds of dollars in supplements. And our online pharmacy that we utilize has over 20,000 supplements. Many of them are physician only. They're the best quality supplements on the market, and you can get access to those. And you can get, like I said, right now you get a Hashimoto's Doctor /TCS. It may not be available. We're not going to offer that 35% discount and all the stuff that we're offering right now, but we're setting this up so we can have a founding group of people. We want to have a group of people that are really dedicated and focused on improving their health and getting as healthy as possible, not just associating themselves with the disease process. We want you to transcend a disease. I say it all the time: no labels, no limits. Right? I don't want you to live by a diagnosis that you're given. I believe a diagnosis is a state of adaptation, and that is not something that you have to be, you are destined to be, and it does not define you. No labels, no limits. That's what our transformation community is about. So we're trying to my team and I are taking the best information that we can, that I've been studying and that we're learning, and we're putting it into usable programs that are not complicated, that are guided with video, that have a support community. We actually have a private closed Facebook group of people that are in our community. We try to support you guys as much as possible. The community supports itself. We have our programs, which are very, like I said, they're concise, they're focused on helping you to achieve results, not overwhelming you with information. We're really, really conscientious of trying to make and create things for you guys that are extremely useful and implementable, that's not going to create overwhelm. That's one of the big problems that we see today, is overwhelm. And so we try to be very conscientious of that and make sure that that doesn't happen. So beyond that, there's also this discount that we now have with our supplement pharmacy of over 20,000 supplements, 35% off, free shipping over $50. You will not find, you will save a tremendous amount of money in our transformation community as it currently is. For the founding members, that's what we're doing. The people beyond that, when we stop taking founding members, we are going to be raising the prices of that stuff because, quite frankly, as we put more and more time and energy into it, we want to reward the people that are part of our community now and that have, started with us. So we appreciate you guys. If you have any questions or you need anything, let us know. But I hope this has helped you out today. And I really look forward to talking to you guys again on the next podcast. Have a great day. Thanks. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed hanging out behind the scenes with Dr. Shook. You can also talk with and learn from Dr. Shook through Facebook Live on our Facebook page at the Office of Dr. Brad Shook. Don't forget, you can also get access to our videos, guidebooks, and thyroid programs at www.drbradshook.com. Oh yeah, and don't forget one more thing. We can change the world one person, one family, and one community at a time. Until next time, remember, today is your day, and no one will tell you who you are and what you can be.